By now you're probably aware of Grand Theft Auto 5, but I'm here to give you a glimpse of some of the things you probably never knew. For example, the script for GTA 5 was over 10,000 pages long. Franklin's actor Sean Fontino actually managed to memorize most of it by writing it down on paper due to his past rapping. The budget was $266 million, which means the game was more expensive than films like The Avengers, Spider-Man 3, Man of Steel, as well as Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. The budget was also higher than the combined prices of Grand Theft Auto 4 and Red Dead Redemption. Speaking of Red Dead Redemption, the audio for Coyotes was recycled for GTA 5, but that's one of the few things that was recycled. GTA 5 is a game that features many firsts for the series. It's the first time that a Grand Theft Auto game features animals, the first time that the entire map is available from the start of the game, as well as the first time the map is made up of one landmass instead of multiple islands. It's also the first time that a Grand Theft Auto game takes place in multiple years, taking place in 2004 as well as 2013. If you're into strippers, it's also the first game that features topless strippers. Most noticeably, this is the first time that a GTA game features more than one playable character. It's also the first time a playable character uses drugs. Franklin and Michael both have the option to use marijuana in their homes, and Trevor has the option to huff gasoline on his front porch. It's also the first time the headlights and convertible tops can be controlled by the player. Lastly, it's the first game where the characters can recover health in ways besides a health pack or reviving at the hospital. Rockstar stated that each of the characters represented a different kind of player. Michael is the player who's already beaten the game and retired. Franklin is the new player getting his feet wet for the first time, and Trevor is a player who uses the freedom to cause mayhem. One thing that Rockstar doesn't state is that each of the game characters can represent another one of their game franchises. Michael can be seen as a representative of Max Payne and Red Dead Redemption. He is a middle-aged man with family that is pulled back into the game after retirement. His special ability is to slow down time to improve his shooting accuracy, like Max Payne's bullet time or John Marston's Deadeye. He also robbed banks as his career like John Marston. Franklin represents Midnight Club. He's a young man with incredible driving skill focused on rising to the top. His special ability to slow down time while driving to increase the control of his vehicle is the same as the zone ability from the Midnight Club series. Trevor has a loose relationship with reality, suffers from multiple psychosis, and frequently dives into murderous rage. All this makes him the perfect representative of the Manhunt game series. Let's talk about the individual characters. Ned Luke, Michael's actor, initially rejected the audition because he wanted to do a television role or a movie role. However, after reading the script, he decided to audition. Luke is deaf in his right ear, which is why Michael leans in closer when people are speaking on his right side. Luke also put on 25 pounds to feel more like Michael, who has been retired for several years. Michael is also the oldest protagonist in a GTA game so far, being somewhere between the ages of 45 and 48. There are two Michael Townleys in Los Santos. One is 83 and the other is in kindergarten. However, there is a Michael Townley in real life. This Michael Townley is also in witness protection. The real life Michael Townley was a CIA operative who helped assassinate Chilean ambassador Orlander Letelier. Michael's witness protection last name is DeSanta, which translates to the Saint. During the bank heist in GTA 4, a man known as Saint Michael was shot and killed. The name DeSanta is also a reference to Vincent DeSanta, the leader of the Mexican army in Red Dead Redemption. Michael is the first GTA protagonist that has a wife and children. Michael met his wife Amanda at a club where she was a stripper. He used his money from robbing banks to buy her breast implants that helped increase her money flow from stripping and prostitution. This led to Michael starting his own prostitution ring until Amanda became pregnant. However, during the game story, Amanda still complains about Michael visiting prostitutes. When Michael hangs out with Franklin, he will admit to getting crabs from a prostitute. Eventually, when Michael reunites his family, he will begin to reject prostitutes by telling them, "No thanks, I'm a married man," similar to John Marston in Red Dead Redemption. Michael has several quotes that he repeats multiple times throughout the game, one being "the way I see it," the other being the more memorable "you forget 1,000 things every day. Make sure this is one of them." It's a quote from the Solomon Richards film Authors Penny Santorum. Ironically, Michael forgot the quote is "we forget 1,000 things every day. Can't this be one of them?" Michael has a love for classic films, and despite hating Jimmy's obsession with video games, Michael frequently comments online under the screen name Michael DS on the classic Vinewood website. On the page for the movie Rum Runner, he comments, "I wanted to be Eddie Olsen when I was a kid, just without the handicap fetish." And under the film The Many Wives of Alfredo Smith, he comments, "This is how movies should be. Plot so tangled that you still don't have a clue what's going on, even after watching it 5 times. Not the dumbed down, sickly, sweet trash that Vinewood is pumping out these days." Unlike Michael, Franklin is a single man. However, Franklin does pick up some of Michael's traits throughout the game. Towards the middle of the game, Franklin starts to make use of the phrase "the way I see it" and starts to use sarcasm more frequently. Another similarity to Michael is Franklin's depression. Michael shows his depression through self-hating actions and monologues. Franklin, on the other hand, attempts to hide his. However, However, when Franklin uses the bong, he starts to reflect on his life in a depressing manner. In one instant, Franklin starts to talk about how he ruined his relationship with his ex-girlfriend Tanisha. On another, he talks about his mother's drug addiction, and he also talks about how he feels alone and everyone hates him. Fantino heard about the auditions from DJ Pooh. DJ Pooh works on the soundtracks for both GTA 5 and GTA San Andreas. You may know Young Melee as the man who voiced CJ in San Andreas. Young Melee is also Fantino's cousin. Fantino actually gained some fame in the past for knocking out Ice Cube and stealing his chain. He would then sell it back to Ice Cube. Characters have a habit of calling Franklin disloyal, including his own family members. Despite all of this, Franklin is actually one of the most loyal characters in the game. Lamar calls Franklin disloyal, but when Lamar is captured by the Ballers, Franklin is the one to organize his rescue. Trevor says that Franklin is disloyal because he hangs out with disloyal slime like Michael, but eventually he changes his mind and calls Franklin a good kid. Local crackhead Tanya also calls Franklin disloyal for not helping his cousin JB. Franklin eventually buys the towing business from JB when he's in danger of losing it due to his drug habit. Franklin's aunt Denise calls Franklin disloyal for going to work instead of hanging out with Lamar. This is ironic considering that she's possibly sleeping with Lamar, who can be seen coming out of Franklin's home with Denise during the Mission Hood Safari. This can also be coupled with Lamar's infatuation for Denise. If you visit the in-game website Psychic Shoutout, Franklin will receive a call about Lamar having sex on his bed. Franklin's criminal record is the shortest of the three protagonists. Highlights are they never graduated high school due to a fight with a teacher. He was also arrested for indecent exposure. Franklin states that he was simply sagging and the police were racially profiling him. However, Tanya claims that Franklin used to have sex with her behind the burger shop. Franklin's Buffalo is a rare vehicle in Los Santos. However, after receiving the bagger from Lamar, it becomes his default vehicle. In the pre-release screenshots, Franklin was usually seen on either a motorcycle or ATV. Most frequently was a Blazer 4-wheeler. In the pre-release art, Franklin was also seen to have a praying hands tattoo on his neck. While this was eventually removed, he still shows signs of being a religious man in the game. When Michael sarcastically quotes a Bible verse in the mission Marriage Counseling, Franklin instantly recognizes that it's from the book of Matthew. He also states that he believes in a white man's God. In the mission Fresh Meat, Franklin laughs when Trevor jumps over a fence and trips. This wasn't in the script. Trevor's actor Stephen Ogg actually tripped over the fence and caused Fantino to laugh. The rest of the scene was improvised by the two. Since they mocap the characters, you can notice Franklin and Trevor attempting to hide their smiles throughout the entire scene. This wasn't the only improvising Ogg did. Trevor was originally going to be from the backwoods, but due to Ogg's Canadian accent, he made Trevor Canadian, and the producers went along with it. This makes Trevor the first Canadian protagonist in any GTA game. Another thing the producers went along with was that sometimes Ogg would record in nothing but his underwear to remain a character. One thing we can all agree on is Trevor's uniqueness. For example, he's the only protagonist that the police call out by name. He's also the first bisexual character in the GTA universe. While he has sex with several women in the game and falls in love with Patricia Madrazo, he also threatens to rape other men on multiple occasions. In his first appearance, he even asks Johnny to make love to him. After the game, where Trevor, Michael, and Franklin all hang out together, Franklin will ask Trevor is he gay or bisexual. Eventually, after some more poking, Trevor admits to it, with Michael yelling out that he knew it. Trevor isn't just attracted to men and women. He also has sex with a teddy bear in Floyd's apartment named Mr. Raspberry, the same teddy bear that can be attached to the front of Trevor's truck at Los Santos Customs. While Michael and Franklin have vehicles that are simply rare around San Andreas, Trevor has the only one of its kind in single player. Trevor is also the only one of the three protagonists to appear in GTA Online so far. If you use a female character, he will tell you that you're ruining his business by not writing, calling, or sending inappropriate pics of your tits. Continuing with the depression that all three characters suffer from, if Trevor hangs out with Franklin and goes drinking, he will tell him that he's lonely. Franklin will laugh and Trevor will become angry, telling him that it's not a joke. Trevor also has a serious fear of his mother and won't even enter his trailer when she visits. Some people believe Trevor's mother to be a hallucination because he's simply seen alone on the ground crying and she's never actually shown. That's been all for Blerd Facts, Grand Theft Auto 5. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, and check out some of the other stuff on our channel, and even visit blerdsonline.com. My name is Darrell, and you can hear me on the CP Time and Powerbomb Jutsu podcast, available on iTunes and Stitcher. Have a nice day, folks.